We are sponsored by Soho Bistro and Lounge.
If you're playing me,
Yup.
keep it on the low.
It's Ultra.
Cause my heart can't take it anymore.
I got us, I told you
If
that.
you're creeping, please don't let it show.
That's all
Vanessa
you
got
know
the
it is.
sauce.
Oh baby, I
Yeah.
don't wanna know. If you're playing me, keep it on the low. Cause my heart can't
Bah.
take it anymore.
Yeah.
And if you're creeping, please don't let it show.
Yeah, yeah. She like, how do we get here? I hung up, why you calling me back? My tears denim, my heart chrome. I put the city all on the map. Little ass city, couple big steppers, just cautious who you jack. I keep it a buck, ain't too many real ones in. A lot of these niggas be rats. Yeah, I said what I said, and I meant what I mean. And not from a place where young niggas kill you and then go post about it, make a meme. Think shit good.
What up, what up, what up, what up? We back for another episode of the Slum Hour. Shout out to Sammy Smooth and 603 Live. We live on my Stoner Life page right now. You know, as always, we're here providing a voice for the people. This is a platform that we created so dreams can be seen and heard. To the left of me, you know, I ain't good with my left and right. To the left of me, my beautiful lady, the First Lady O.
What's good, y'all? How y'all doing tonight?
And tonight's special guest, the one and only JL.
What's the word, y'all? What's the word? It's your boy JL. You know the vibes.
Okay, so you know everybody out there who do know you and those who don't know you, they want to know where you from. You know what nationality you are, and you know what type of music you do.
All right, well, originally I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, Dorchester to be exact.
Shout out to Dorchester.
I am of Cape Verdean and Puerto Rican descent.
Okay.
Like, you know, that's what I am. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, you know, they always ask me like, you speak Spanish? Nah, I understand it, but I don't speak it. Yeah, so.
Okay. So were you born over there or in Cape Verde or was you born over here in America?
No, I was born over here in America. You know, I got family in ancestry that dates back to that, but most of my family they're definitely from Boston. I got a few family members in New York, a few family members in Pittsburgh, just all over, Cali, all that.
Right.
So,
All right. And so, really quick, can you tell us about like your upbringing and how it kind of got you into, you know, doing music and made you passionate about getting into music and doing music? And
my upbringing, pretty much, you know, mom and dad, they was there, but they wasn't together. You know what I mean? The reason why I got into music solely was my dad, my pops. You know, he's been doing his thing with music for a very long time. So, you know, that's my biggest, you know, motivation right there and inspiration is because of him, you know. Soon, you know, the moment he heard me sing like Amazing Grace, and I Believe I Could Fly by R. Kelly, that was what really like said it. He's like, boy, you got a gift. And, you know, ever since then, like, you know, he's kind of put the battery in my back to keep going with this music as well, too. So, you know,
I
yeah.
hear you say Amazing Grace. I love singing that song. So I guess are you more of a singer? Are you a rapper? Can you let everybody know if you like what you do?
I would say that I do a little bit of rapping, but I specialize definitely in singing.
Okay,
So
the vocals.
yeah, I'm more the vocals. But I can definitely hold my own with the raps as well too. So
Right. So you say you got into it basically because of your father, and that's what he was doing and everything.
mm-hmm.
Is your father still around? And what are some of the pitfalls that he may have experienced that you're now experiencing yourself?
So he's definitely still around. He's still doing his thing. You know.
Okay.
Some of the pitfalls I guess you can say is understanding that not everybody's your friend, especially in this industry. It is
That's true.
you know, very young age. He got dealt bad hands dealing with people that he thought he could trust, and you know, it goes back to the old saying: you can't trust everybody. You know, not everybody's your friend. Not everybody has your best interest at heart. Right. So he kind of instilled that in me at a very, very young age to, you know, stay on your P's and Q's. Never get ahead of yourself. You know, it's okay to celebrate wins, but know how to do it and act like you've been there before, you know, and just continue to keep grinding because consistency is key.
Consistency is key.
I
So-
say that all the time. I keep hearing you say, like, you can't trust people, even some of the people that are your closest. I read something the other day. I think it's in the book that I'm reading right now, The 48 Laws of Power. And it says, like, you should fear more your friends than your enemies. You should make
sure.
more enemies because your enemies are people you can actually trust because you know what they're going to give you. So has there been any struggles that, like, helped you understand more of how to be in this music industry and, how to be in with your music?
I've learned personally myself that not everybody's word is bond.
That's a fact.
Personally myself, especially people that were the closest to me. I've had people fill me with false narratives or false prophecies and, fake glitz and glamour. Like, you gonna do this, like you gonna be the next. I ain't never tried to be nobody but me. So, I've learned that, I can't take everybody's word. Everything you gotta sometimes get it the right way and get it in black and white, So like, and as bad as that is, I've also realized that, you gotta love doing this. Like,
Right.
you gotta wake up every day knowing that you love doing this, because the moment you stop loving what you do, you might as well just continue with a regular 9 to 5, which is nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but you might as well just continue with the everyday grind of getting up every morning, going to work, coming home, pretty much living in the same system. And I've realized that I can't live my life like that. I gotta always love what I do and, perfect my craft every day. So I've gone through my own struggles, dealing with, like I said, not being able to take everybody's word. But I've also dealt with, one of the reasons I stuck with music was I was diagnosed with a health disorder when I was
Oh, wow.
probably 9. I was diagnosed with a blood disorder, and that stopped me from ever playing sports, being able to play sports with, for an actual, like, organized team, anything of the sort. Okay. So my love for music grew even more because I was like, shit, if I can't be this football player or this, this little point guard, then guess what? I'm gonna take this music and I'm gonna take it up a notch, and I'm gonna keep going with it, So, but I didn't realize that until I was damn near in my teen years, you know what I mean? So,
Definitely sorry to hear that. Having a condition that because you say that too, as if sports might have been something that you was trying to get into.
Man, I love sports. Like my pops, he was a, from what I was told by family members, so I know he's not bullshitting. He was a pretty damn good football player. Injuries obviously, caught up with him, and he wasn't able to, do what he wanted to do. But he made me love music and have appreciation, not just for the music that was from this time to my time. He made me appreciate music from before my time, and just his love for it and his passion. And obviously that being my dad, I was just like, yeah, I love this shit, But
Right.
sports was one of those things that I love. I still love it to this day, even though I can't play it. So,
So, like I said, we use this platform here to be like, the voice of the people. And one of the topics we were talking about, the last episode was about, support, people not supporting you, and locally. So my question to you is, how has the local support been for you, and what do you think some of the pitfalls are out here? For me, I always say it's because there's no culture out here. People listen to hip hop, they know what hip hop is and everything, but that's all they want to do. They don't want to be a part of the culture. And those who are a part of the culture, which is us, a lot of us are scared to really put ourselves out there because of the stigma that has been set on this state and these areas for so long.
For sure.
A diversity problem or whatever. So, like I said, my question to you is, what are some of the things that you've experienced as far as being a local artist and support, and as far as everywhere else too?
I honestly, I think you hit it right on the head. I think it has to do, majority of it, with the diversity of this city. Manchester not really being one of those cities that, yeah, they embrace hip hop as, like, everywhere you go, turn down a block somewhere, you're gonna hear it. But as far as like celebrating people who are living in the city, are from the city, that make hip hop music and going off and supporting what they do, it's kind of, it's like night and day when
Right.
it comes to when it comes to you know, the support. Because like I said, a lot of people that live here, they entertain it, but they don't want to see it really in clubs like that or something like that,
Right.
because there's a stigma that comes behind that. Like, oh, okay, after the performance, something's gonna go down. Like, you know, you gonna come in there, with a big entourage. First of all, I don't roll with an entourage. I got homies, and literally they not. If something go down, we gonna make sure it go down. But it's those are like my brothers. Like, we not in there causing no trouble. I'm to everybody that knows me, I'm the singer guy. So I let them have that about me, you know.
So I kind of want to, give a shout out to everyone that's joining in right now. And also that if you want to call in, the number is 603-661-1712. And if you guys want to call in, like, how do you guys feel if you're from Manchester? Like, what do you guys think it is why a lot of locals don't show support to the locals here with the artists and things like that? And if you're from out of town, do you guys get the same kind of non-support from your local community members and things like that? So, you guys can definitely call in again at 603-1712, 603-661-1712. It's also in the chat as well.
You know, it's crazy that you say that about, they're scared that afterwards, it's going to be some type of fighting or whatever. When we try to do a show, I'm not going to say what spot was out here, that's basically what they told us. Everybody else didn't want it. All the, unfortunate, the black people we were reaching out to about it didn't want to just straight up and tell us that they didn't want. We could do anything we wanted there as long as
But
it
it
wasn't
couldn't be
hip-hop.
it couldn't be a rap or hip-hop show.
And that's sad. That's sad.
I mean,
And-
I'm kind of, I kind of feel a little bit on the opposite side about that. Some people are like, oh, they're being racist, but I just think it's the establishment. And it's true that sometime, when people get together of color and that kind of like music gets on, people get rowdy and they start drinking, a lot of things start to happen because people start coming with their crew, they start bringing their, who they're affiliated with, and things start to happen. But I don't think per se that they're racist or anything like that. But
sure.
I mean, it is what it is. Some kind of music does bring certain kind of crowds, and if you guys think I'm wrong for that, please call in and let me know. But I think some crowds do bring in certain kind of people.
I think some of these establishments, once they figured out other establishments were going off and setting that standard, I think they just follow suit.
Yeah,
Because
where's
it's
those
easier.
establishments now? Are they still open?
Exactly.
No,
like,
they're not.
It was easier for them, to follow into that. But another.
I like what Ma just said.
What did Ma say?
She said, what's crazy is last night, Capadonna was crazy lit, was packed, so the hip-hop ain't the problem.
It's the people. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's sad, honestly, when you think about it. It's like, you got to wonder if you're going to go to a hip-hop show or an event, and you got to wonder if you're going to make it out of there, like, unscathed. Like, it sucks they have that mindset, but it shouldn't be the end all for all establishments, especially in such a small but big city that we're in. You know what I mean? There's room for opportunity. You know what I mean?
Hold on. I think we have a call. Hold on. Hi, this is Ophelia. You're calling in on the Slum Hour. Who's this?
This is Carissa. Hey, girl.
Hey, Carissa. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm good. Talk to us.
So I was watching the episode, and James, it's been forever, but when I saw your name today, I was like, oh my gosh, I know him. I'm like, I went to school with him, and I'm so glad to see that you're still staying with the music. I remember, being in high school with you, and you were always singing, and like, I remember like us singing, and you've always had such an amazing talent. So, I'm so first proud of you for, continuing what it is that you're passionate about, and also allowing yourself to be on a platform tonight and really support, these people and also yourself. And congratulations on everything you're doing. But to speak on your question about the support out here.
Yes, please.
Personally, like, I feel like and I'm just speaking on my own experience, but I think a lot of where we failed as a community, because there are people that will support you out here, but I think a lot of people, from my experience, view each other as competition. And I've talked about this.
Yeah.
I've talked about this on my platform. I actually had Hennessy on my platform a little while ago. Royce, he's an amazing artist as well. And we discussed this, and we said, you know, a lot of the issues are that, you know, people, there's room for everybody to grow. But I think a lot of times people are so afraid of their failure to success that it's almost like, you know, well, if I show this person something, or if I allow this person to have space, like, what if I'm not being heard? What if my music's not being heard? What if people aren't looking at me and this person, you know, steals the limelight? When in reality, it's like, what could I teach this person? And that's why, you know, any person that I see in my life that's successful, because there was a point in my life that I was very like insecure, and, you know, I was like afraid to ask people questions. But now if I see someone that's growing and see something that, you know, I can share with them, I'm like, how can I learn from that person? So I really hope as a community, especially being like in a small town, that we can really grow together and allow ourselves to hold space for each other.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
Thank you.
This is the thing though. Hip hop is very, very competitive, you know.
Of course.
And I feel that if you're in the genre of hip hop and you're scared of a little competition, then maybe you need to stay in
Yeah,
the
then
house.
maybe,
Yeah,
or
for
maybe
sure.
you should do something else.
But
And maybe you're doing the wrong thing.
Right.
but also, right, that's why we created Slum Religion. You know, most people that we brought on this platform, they're not signed to Slum Religion, you know, but we try to showcase everybody. We try to bring everybody together and show that the only way that we are going to make it and be able to
Is
do
together.
something in entertainment and in life, period, is together, like y'all said. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're trying to do now. You know, I be getting a little discouraged myself, because I be like, damn, you know, it's not like we're not putting out good music. So what is the problem? We're showing, there's no problems at our shows. It's all love. I don't really know what it is. And that's why I asked you earlier. Like, do you ask people, like, well, why don't you support my music?
Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
Why is it that, because you put out so good music, why aren't y'all supporting it?
No, I've
Know what I
definitely,
mean?
I've definitely asked that, and I've gotten no response, like real responses that have been actual, like a response. Like there's no real thought behind it. It's just, oh, I didn't have time, or oh, I got caught up with something, or the infamous, I didn't see it. Like,
Right.
bro, you're on Facebook, Instagram, all that, all the time. Like, you gonna tell me right now you ain't scrolled and seen it pop
Right.
up at all? My name, nothing, but it's cool.
People are scrolling like 5 miles a day, every day scrolling 5
facts.
miles.
You know,
Like, let's
something's
go.
always catching your
Right.
attention. But to speak on the competition, like, you sometimes you need that little bit of
Yes.
competition
Right,
in
you
the
do.
city.
I
And
told you I'm
Absolutely.
about to put out diss tracks on all you motherfuckers.
Shut up, D.
You know what I'm saying?
and the crazy thing
Shut
is,
up.
is like, I think people confuse competition as hating.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
they confuse it so much, because they think just because there's a little bit of competition, oh, he's hating on me.
I
He don't
love-
want to
I
see me. He
love
don't want to see me
competition.
shine.
Right.
I
Shout
love
out-
competition.
Shout out to
I think
Clarissa.
you also
She has
have
her
to look
own
at
podcast.
competition
And I
take. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was shouting you out, and you have your own podcast, and I was saying at the show, like, this friendly competition.
Right, I
there's-
love it.
I mean,
Right.
this is how you support each other. Also, I want to shout out, before we get any further, I want to shout out Tori and No Chaser. You know, that's my dude.
Shout out to Tori,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Y'all need to tune in Wednesdays. Know what I mean? But back to what we were saying on that note. How do you feel as far as like what you could be doing better as an artist to get people to want to support you, to get people to, you know, do the things that you feel they should be doing anyway? Do you think it's something that you could be doing better?
For sure. I mean, there's always room for improvement. You always want to be able to improve yourself in the craft that you're doing.
Right.
You always want to get better. You always want to learn. I think with me, you know, it's not about the talent. It's not about what I'm saying. It's not always about the beat selection. It's about how I pretty much market myself.
Right.
I think also, you know, because in this city, people know who I am. People know who I am, like, because of the music stuff and like that. But like, to be able to support it more, we don't see that a lot. And I think it's about marketing. I think I got to go off and strategize, and honestly putting out more visuals, putting out full, what do I want to say? Not necessarily an EP, but maybe a project. Something that it gives you more than just one listen. You feel me? So I think, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's like at the same time, the love, the genuine support got to be there from your own city too, because it's a shame when I step out of my own city and I get more love in those cities than I do my own. And I know that's not just me. I know that's everybody, but
And that's why
it starts home. It starts at home.
That's why I asked if anybody that's tuned in right now from a different city can call in and see if they've seen or experienced the same thing in their town. And also, it's funny how, like, you were saying that, when you're doing like these, shows and things like that, nobody will show up or support you. But I bet if you make a post about, that you're struggling through something or something negative, people are like, oh, wow, I can't believe he's going through that. Or you'll hear about it from someone else, that something about a post that you made. But anything that's positive, it's like nobody wants to see you doing good.
Everybody
Nobody wants to
to
give
show.
you praise.
That's because a lot of people have like insecurities within themselves too. So, I think, with all of you, what you're doing, like God bless you, James, and Ophelia and Dee, with what you're doing.
Thank you.
As well. Giving people an opportunity to speak their voice and to give their truth. But, a lot of times, and you talked about like the support from other cities, I've experienced that with the podcast, and I've experienced that with, my podcast, having support from, Chicago and all these other places, and being at home and seeing, the different ways. And then you talk about, posting a status, but that's because a lot of people have insecurities with themselves. So I think our responsibility with what we're doing on the platforms we have, and James with your music as well,
Shout out
is just keep leading by example,
right?
And showing inspiration so that people can really tune in to what it is that they, find important for themselves.
I just said that.
Sure.
I just said
For
that
sure.
to you the other day, Dee. Yeah. Thank you, Carissa. And again, if you guys didn't hear or if we didn't mention it, Carissa's podcast is Faith Over Fear. So you guys log in and tune in to see Carissa and her podcast.
Right.
Shout out to you,
All right,
Carissa.
God
I
bless you
appreciate
guys.
you.
I'm so
Thank
proud
you.
of you,
Thanks,
James.
Carissa.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night, you guys.
I'll see you
You
tomorrow,
too.
Carissa.
All right.
So-
Good night.
All right, bye.
So if we on here, this is a podcast, so you got to kind of put some of your business out there,
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
You-
What are you about to say? Whose business? His business?
His
Oh,
business.
okay.
I mean, we'll save yours for another note.
Shut up.
You're a stay-at-home dad.
For sure.
Do you feel that you being home with your son every day, that plays a big part as far as his development? And how does that help you with your music, being able to be home, even though you're taking care of him, but you're able to, do what you need to do and not have to, go out and take breaks from it.
So, getting into the stay at home dad thing, right? It started.
I'm gonna be a stay-at-home dad someday. But go ahead.
So the little idea of it actually sparked from my dad, because when I was born, he stayed home with me for 9 months.
Oh.
And my mom and him kind of agreed that was the best way to do it. And now our bond is like inseparable. Like, I'll go to war for him. Like, if somebody ever tries to disrespect him on whatever, And I know he's grown
Shout
man.
out to my pops.
You know what I'm saying? He can handle his own, but that's where it came from. But just being around my son every day, talking to him, and I don't, it started with baby talk, but I started realizing, like, I started really talking to him, and letting him know, like, I love you. He responds back, just really looking at my son every day and realizing, like, him, my daughter, my wife, like, they're the reasons why I go hard. Now, when it came to the stay-at-home dad thing, that was the idea of my wife, because daycare is expensive. Daycare is expensive.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was working, before being a stay-at-home, I was working an all right job. Before that job, I was working a damn good job. I was working for the city. So, I was getting the benefits. I was doing all that. Me and my wife, we made a damn near the same amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Then it got to a point where it was taken away from my music and being home, because during the winter,
I was
you
just
you
gonna
gotta
ask
plow.
you that. Yeah.
You gotta plow.
Yeah.
So it was taken away from that. Like when my son was born, I literally had like 10 days before I had to go back, and then I was back on the road plowing right after. My son was born at the end of January, so it's like,
Yeah, right at the tip.
so it stemmed from that. My wife brought it to my attention, and at first I was like, nah, I can't be no stay-at-home dad. Like, just
Did you feel that was making you look at less of a man
from
for
the
doing it?
stereotypical sense of it, yeah, because I felt like a lot of men do get judged when they're damn good fathers, like, to their kids. As long as you're taking care of your kids, you're doing your job.
Right.
And
You're taking care of home.
That
You
was
feel
going to
me?
be my next question. How do you deal with negative criticism from people, family, friends? How do you deal with
As
that?
far as his music, or just in
Criticism in general, like how you were just saying how people like.
So I take constructive criticism, and I capitalize on it.
Yes, I love that. I love constructive criticism. It makes me be better. Like,
And,
please talk about me.
Like,
Tell me what's wrong.
Constructive criticism is always going to make you, do your job at the best way you possibly can.
Right.
So when I hear negative shit, I don't really. I mean, there's times that we're human. We're gonna let it bother us a little bit. But one thing that I've realized, I can't dwell on it.
Right,
Can't sit
especially
there
when
and
it's
dwell.
coming from someone that's not even on your level or even going to be where you're going to be or where you're trying to be. So it's like, don't even pay attention to that,
For sure.
you know?
So when it came, going back to the question, like, obviously I'm home with my son. I make time to do this music. The one thing that my wife, out of everything like that we discussed before I became a stay-at-home dad, was the one thing that she brought up, and this is why I love her. She's like, I don't want you to end up giving up on this music knowing that you didn't give it everything.
Yeah, we got to make that
And
sacrifice
she's like,
sometimes.
we gon' hurt for a little bit. We might struggle a little bit in the beginning, but it's all gonna pay off.
Right.
And I know it is, because I believe in you. I believed in you since the beginning. I'm always gonna believe in you.
That's
And
what's
she pushed it. She put that battery in my back. My dad, just being so supportive the way that he is too. And my dad's been a big help. Even at me being 30, like, he never stops being a dad. He's my best friend. He gives me advice on things I should do. And I love this. I love, don't get me wrong. I don't knock anybody that does the work thing, but I love being a dad and being home with my kid, knowing that I'm able to teach him. I was there to teach him how to walk. My wife would take night shifts doing that. I'm doing the day shifts with him, like, you know what I mean, on how to walk, how to actually communicate, how to actually use a spoon and fork the right way. Like,
That's what's up.
I love that.
I love that.
And him, my daughter, they're the inspirations why I continue to keep going, because my daughter be talking about she want to meet certain celebrities and stuff, and
You're
she
like,
hoping.
hold
So I'm
up.
like, wait a minute, pump the brakes
Yeah,
now.
bring it back.
We got to get to this point first before we get to that point. You feel me? So
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about hip hop music or hip hop artists that you think some people may have?
that a lot of violence comes of it. That it's solely, strictly drug influenced.
And what is your thoughts and opinion on that?
I say not all hip hop. Does it take up in today's music a good portion of it? Yeah, because no knock to anybody who's doing New York drill or whatever the case may be. I fuck with that shit in the club because it's good to vibe and
Yeah.
dance to. But you hear it. You hear somebody, those drill songs, they really talking about taking people's lives and unaliving people and drug. Yeah, I get it, but not the hip hop that I solely grew up on. Like, my pops put me onto a whole hell of a lot of other hip hop. Like, him growing up, DMX.
Came from my era. Shout out to your
Yeah,
pops.
for sure.
Okay.
DMX.
The 90s.
For sure.
The
best
70s,
It doesn't matter. The 90s music, best
60s,
era.
and 50s.
You
No, I'm
know,
just kidding.
my favorite artist to this day, and I got the chance to meet him, open up for him, Jadakiss.
Oh,
The
yes,
Locks.
I love
Jada
Jadakiss.
Kiss.
Oh, my
Jadakiss,
God.
The Locks,
Yes.
Styles
Yes.
P, Chic, like, those are, like, I was, okay.
We might have to get Jada on here one
Funny-
of these days.
funny
Mark
little-
my words.
For sure. funny
I
little
used to be
story.
out my way all the time in the studio
Yeah.
with my people.
When I used to work retail, few years ago, fucking Styles P actually came into my store, and I didn't realize who it was at first. So this girl that I worked with,
You feel like, oh my God, it sounds real.
I didn't expect her to know who that was, but she's like, James, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think that's Styles P. I'm like, and mind you, she a white girl, but it's funny.
course.
It's funny. So I'm like, stop lying. Mind you, I didn't know he had a show in Manchester. So I'm doing my due diligence, and I go over and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And before I can even say how you do, like the whole how you doing, I'm like, oh shit, it's really you. He's like, yes, and I'm like, bro, that's fire. I told her, yo, ring him up under my discount. I don't give a fuck. Everything. Get
That-
everything.
that
The whole
rem-
crew.
That
Everything.
That reminds me of when I first met Jadakiss, and Jadakiss is like my favorite artist. I had went to a show. It was Millie's show. I think it was in Centro, and I had backstage passes because my friends or whatever, and we were backstage, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit down. There's a lot of people back here. They're smoking. I don't smoke, so I went to sit down. As I'm sitting there, I heard this voice. I was sitting on a couch with someone. I heard this voice, and I was like, wait a second. That only voice and that laugh can only be one person. So when I turn, because I don't pay attention to nobody in the club or no guy, nothing.
For sure.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm minding my business. And then when this person starts talking, I turn around, and there's Jadakiss sitting right next to me. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is him. But, yeah, that's how I first met my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
And I was, like, super excited. But I didn't act all, like, starstruck or anything because that's not what I do.
That's
Yeah.
it's crazy because that's where the show that I got to open up for him. That's where Mikey actually got to see me perform. Shout out to Ocho.
Ocho.
That's where he got to.
Good.
He brings that up all the time. He's like, I was there at that performance. Mind you, this is in Auburn, Maine. Like
Auburn, Maine?
I'm like, who's
Jeez.
coming out here for a
No
show?
way.
Mad Heads came out because
Wow.
Jadakiss, and my first real encounter with him was being able to be on the stage as he's performing. Like I'm like, mind you, I'm an artist myself. I'm not with they entourage. I'm not with none of that. But Lou Armstrong, who was
Oh,
there,
yeah.
shout out to him too.
Shout out to Lou.
He ended up he's like, yo, you should be up there.
Right.
Matter of fact, get on the stage.
Get up there.
And I'm like, what? And I got on the stage and I got to see him pretty much perform all the hits, from the stuff with the Locks, even just his parts, to when Dreams and I forgot Heaven and Hell.
Oh, yeah,
when
that
he was
is my
performing that. That was during that time.
song.
That
That
was
is
the
my
song.
song.
So
Yeah.
I was like, he performed it, and mind you, I'm trying to be the artist, but I'm starstruck in a sense too, because I'm like, yo. And then I realized, I'm like, damn, he damn near my height. What's going on? What's
Yeah,
going
he
on?
is. Yeah, he is.
But shout out to Jada and all them, man. And that's the music that I grew up on.
Right.
Like, if I was gonna love and appreciate hip hop, that's where it stems from.
This is kind of left, right? But I always got to do that at times. Growing up out here in Manchester, and it, it's majority white, but it's a lot of diversity out here. I'm just curious, because around here, white girls, they be, my nigga this, my nigga that. How do you feel, and how did you feel the first time, even though they was trying to use it in a term of endearment? How did you feel the first time? Because I know you heard it.
I was going to
before.
say,
What
talking
up,
to the
my
mic
nigga?
a little bit, D,
What up,
'cause
my
you can
nigga?
hear.
Yeah, I'm asking him, being from out here, I mean, most of his life, and growing up and knowing how they are out here and how a white chick will embrace you, and some of these dudes out here with, what up, my nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how I felt the first time I heard it, but how did you feel, and how did you deal with it, and how do you deal with it today, as far as, do you use it in your music? Do you see it as a term of endearment, or do you stay
Well,
away from it altogether?
When I first heard it, especially, I don't even think it was a white girl. I think it was a white dude just in general. I said, what? And I looked around, and I'm like, oh, so we not checking nobody no
Oh,
more.
my-
Mind you, I'm like
Damn.
real young, because I've always grown up like, you don't allow people to, that's not black, you don't allow people to go off and go use that word for nothing. Now, with how everything is, and it's in music, it's I look at it as, because I do use it in certain songs. Certain songs I don't even cuss at all, and I got music like that. But I use it I use it every now and again. I don't try to overly use it. Maybe only when I'm drunk, but that's different. But I don't. When I hear somebody,
That's not of color.
that's not of color, and he or she is like rapping a song or whatever. I don't take offense to it because it's like I look at it like this. As cliche as it sounds, if they didn't want you to say it, they wouldn't have put it in the. If they didn't want you to say it in the song, they wouldn't have put it in the. They wouldn't have put it in the song. Like, So I know there's different stances on it. Now, would I let somebody go off and just be like, "Yo, what's up?" Nah. I don't care if you have any type of street ties, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, my guy, you don't have the complexion for the connection.
Oh my gosh.
So
I've never heard that. Can you say that again? You don't have the what?
You don't have the complexion for the connection.
Y'all hear
So
that? You don't have the complexion for the connection. Okay, that's
you
new.
didn't get
I
the
like that.
invite, like Bright.
Oh my
Relax.
I've experienced I haven't experienced, coming out here and going to prison out here, and then when you go up north, like they got a couple racist gangs, but it's weird because you see things on TV, you may see things other places to whereas like when that's who they are, that's who they fuck with. But
sure.
out here, they're a part of it, but yet they fuck with you. They have the Nazi swastika on them, like shit weird as hell. You feel me? Like so have you experienced growing up with someone and them being, your friend and hanging out with you, and then down the line you seen them and they're like might be a part of something else or got caught up in the things that, are prevalent out here as far as some of the racist gangs and the things of that nature?
Not as far as racist gangs, but like just some of the stuff that typically goes on out here. I done had some real good friends that I was really cool with that are you don't even recognize them no more. You know what I mean? Like,
What do you mean?
Just with like with drugs, life. Sometimes they mental health. Like they get to a point where they just are not themselves no more. And it's a shame, I've seen it happen.
Why do you think the drug epidemic is so big here in New Hampshire?
Well, Trump said because it's an infested drug den.
Infested drug dentists. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it was bad when I was here because I had moved in 2013. I moved back to Boston. I didn't come back until almost 2015. So I moved to Boston. And it was before that. It was bad. Like the homeless was the homeless problem. Like it is what it was. But when I came back,
the homeless problem is retarded out here.
But when I came back to New Hampshire almost in 2015, I saw that it had gotten it had tripled in numbers. Like it was bad. Like people, I'm telling you, like people that I went to high school with,
that was the toughest part for me.
Middle school
Yeah,
too. Like
middle school,
like
yeah.
they were losing themselves to the to the drugs, and I was like, damn, like I've only been away a year, almost 2 years.
Can I tell you what my honest opinion is on that? I feel like because Manchester, and I say that because that's where I, mostly grew up, and I think it's because here there's literally nothing to do.
There's not.
And I always say it's either you sell drugs, do drugs, party, or get into trouble.
That's literally
all you can do.
That's literally the cycle.
And if you're selling drugs, you're partying. And then if you're partying, most of the times you're doing drugs.
Doing it.
And then if you're doing drugs and partying, then most of the time you're getting in trouble and getting locked up.
You've
so it's
already
like a
got
cycle.
established into the system.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's unfortunate, but like, what was it? Oh, I can't really say because it hasn't made the press yet, but in a couple weeks you guys will know. But there's something that's going to be happening, and they asked me some questions like, what do you think would make New Hampshire more attractive for young professionals? And I said, maybe if we had better job opportunities or things for young people to do. There's absolutely nothing to do out here. We literally just got a Dave and Buster's. Like every state like literally has one of those everywhere, but we just got one. There's nothing for us to do here. So we just sit and twiddle our thumbs. And
well, my opinion from the things that I see, young people aren't really active in the community.
Nope.
And a lot of the older
Not a lot
people
of 'em.
that are in charge out here, as far as politically, or even some of the business and things of that nature, is a bunch of people that probably should be retiring now. And I don't have nothing against older people, but sometimes some people can't change with the times.
What do you mean by that? Some people can't change with the times.
Meaning, what worked today might not work tomorrow. You know where I'm coming from? So, it's just like when I wasn't out here, but when COVID hit. When COVID hit, people had to readjust. They had to start. That's when delivery became bigger. That's when the outside seating became bigger. So, that's just a couple things. When time comes, you have to learn how to, when things come in front of you, you have to learn how to be able to shift and maneuver and get through these things, And that's a question I have for you, for both of y'all. You saying that growing up, both of y'all are growing up most of your life out here, and you saying that there's nothing for y'all to do, and there was nothing for you to do as youngsters, so that's how people get into the drugs and the drinking and everything else. Why is it that there isn't anything out here to do? How did y'all grow up out here? Did y'all not have like real childhoods, or was your parents' generations fucked up out here on drugs too, to whereas y'all raised yourselves?
No, I just think, I didn't grow up fucked up, and I just think it's out here. There's no, like I said, there's no, really after school programs, or I can't even say, what there is, because I've never really been to other places to even know what there is that we could have here. But, really, there's just, the movie theaters, or when I was in middle school, what we did for fun was go to the mall and walk around and things like that. We didn't even have really a skating rink to go to and have fun. So what we did, we got together, we hung out, things like that. But
bonfires and shit.
Bonfires, yes, bonfires. But I don't know, just.
But that's why I say there's no real culture out here, because only a lot of things that people do out here are what they see and what they see other people in other places do.
Facts.
And that's that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, because and not to knock on younger people or some of these older ones.
But I also heard you say, hold on,
individuality out here.
I heard you say that the young people aren't doing anything or going to do stuff, but there's nothing here for the young people to do.
That's why you have to create opportunities. That's why Slum Religion's here. We're creating opportunities for people, for you young people to be out here, to get out here, express yourselves, your talents, whatever, and get to it. You know what I'm saying?
So I was actually going to touch on that topic because, in a sense, young people, they're not going off and being creative and actually tapping in and figuring out, or even asking questions like, what would y'all want to see out here? If you had to leave it to me, obviously, because we have great establishments of people that are taking people, and showing them how to play basketball. We got people who are doing it, out of their own pocket. We have stuff like that. We do have some after school programs, but they don't get talked about or mentioned as much.
That's
because,
true.
Look where we at. We got to create the platform for it.
Right.
And then on top of that, I feel like, me speaking from personal, as much as music is a big thing and art is a big thing for people, why are we not setting up classes, to try to help these kids, pick a craft? And it doesn't have to specifically be music, but why can't we get them to go off and do art? Some type of expressive art, get them into learning how to, interpretive dance, something that's going to release some of that stuff that makes them want to crash out and be destructive and fall down the path, because we can break that curse. Are we doing enough question asking,
right,
and getting, topics and putting together a plan to help these kids break that type of
Well,
I like that.
Well, it's just like racism. Racism is taught, and I hate to keep bringing that up, but that's
it is.
That's something that's taught. So a lot of things that's going on now is because of the people that are teaching them. And if you don't change your ways and change how you see things, change how you view things and do things, how can you expect to teach the ones that are coming after you? What I'm saying? And the respect level now is crazy. There's no respect at all.
Nah. Especially these little ones, man. They run rampant. They ain't got no type of respect
But
not authority, but like, you know, just the older generation that's trying to show them something.
well, a lot of it too, like my man Humza said, you know, when he called in last week. A lot of it has to do with us older cats, and I mean we didn't set the right examples, or a lot of or situations like me where I spent majority of my life in prison. Know what I'm saying? So, you know, I've been unfortunate to be able to you know leave an impression on other people beyond what I'm able to do now. And the people that I'm doing now are already adult. They've already, you know, figured out what, for the most part, who they are and what they want out of life. So, you know, I try to, you know, give back and create situations to whereas I could feel like I'm contributing, that I didn't, you know, I wasted a lot of years of my life, but now I'm giving back. Now I'm earning, you know, as far as blessings or whatever they want to call it. You know, I pay it forward. You know, I go through the tolls. I'll pay my car and the car behind me. You know what I'm saying? I do things to try to, you know, get my blessings however I can, because I'm still fighting demons. I'm still,
Unknown
you know,
caller.
in the struggle every day. You feel me? So
For sure.
Hold on, we have a call coming in.
all right. We're getting down. We got like 7 minutes left too. So whoever is calling, we got to make sure that they, you know, get to
Hello, are you calling in for the Slum Hour?
Yes, I am.
And who's this?
This is JL's dad.
Oh.
What's up,
Okay.
Pops?
What's
Hello.
up?
it.
What's up?
Here.
Oh, don't act like you don't know who this is. Jimmy New in the flesh.
I know, when he said your name earlier, I was like, why does that sound so familiar? What's going on?
And you and I have worked on tracks together just as well.
Okay, what's going on?
And not too much. You guys were bringing up reasons why there's nothing to do out in New Hampshire, and that's a true statement.
Right.
It's a true statement because of the simple fact, even believe it or not, the only reason why I made music a big pastime when I was there was because of the simple fact that there was nothing else to do.
Right.
It was either do music or get in trouble.
Right.
Okay? And if you know the teams that we used to roll with back then, with the colorblind,
Yeah.
the 3DE, and the street regimes,
You
and
already
all
know.
the teams that you already know what it is. You know that 90% of my time I was in the studio. Okay? Because there was nothing else to do. If we weren't rocking a show somewhere at Millie's or this, that, and the third, what was it? Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
You know, all these different
Brown.
places that are no longer here.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So there is no real avenue these days for young people to really enjoy themselves, express themselves in a way where they can come up with their own culture. There is nothing there.
Right.
For sure.
You know? And part of the reason why when I moved out of New Hampshire, I was happy because I noticed that when I went different places, Atlanta, Chicago, you know, the West Coast, okay, LA, they were doing things, you know, but they also had avenues to do things.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And obviously, as I've progressed myself, I still do the music, but I'm way low key because everybody's doing it.
Yes.
Right.
It's like the crack game right now.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to say this. You know, at the end of the day, I take my hat off to O. I take my hat off to JL. You guys kept going with the music, and that's a big thing. You know, because there was a lot of pitfalls, and I'm you know,
Yes, I do.
there's a lot of
Very well.
pitfalls that held us back from being where we need to be. But you guys didn't stop chugging. You know, I did. I do everything I do just to have fun. I don't even do it because of the I wanted to. I never wanted to be famous. I never wanted none of that. I just wanted to be acknowledged.
Right.
You know, and my best and biggest acknowledgement out of all of this is my son.
Oh my
Shout
God,
out
that was
to
gonna make me
JL.
cry.
Shout out to Pops,
Oh
man.
my
Okay, that's
God.
I
right.
appreciate
Like-
you, Pops.
Right.
I knew he was going to say that.
Right.
With that being said, thank you, J-New, for tuning in and calling in. We're about to go live, actually, now that you said your son.
Right.
We're about to go live in the Lightbox. Ladies, you guys got to tune in. When I say this man got vocals,
Definitely.
he got vocals. So we're about to go live in the Lightbox, y'all. So
Right.
tune in
sure.
for that. And thank you for everyone for tuning in and always supporting us. And, yeah.
Joe, you got anybody you want to shout out?
Man, first of all, shout out my pops.
Right.
Pops again.
Shout
definitely.
out to my wife, my beautiful kids.
Okay.
I love y'all to death. Thank y'all if y'all stayed up to watch this. Thank
Right.
y'all. And just shout out to the people, the real ones that really fuck with me. I may not have gotten to where I need to be, but I'm getting there slowly but surely.
Okay.
So I appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Much love,
Thank you, New.
I gotta shout out everybody, in the field, everybody that tuned in, know what I'm saying? We doing it, we trying to get better, know what I'm saying, as far as, the culture, as far as the music, as far as entrepreneurship, everything out here, man. We just trying to come together. We don't care what nationality you are. We don't care what you into, man. We supporting everybody, and we want y'all to do the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, music is a way to bring people together. It's soothing. It's all those other things.
Therapeutic.
Right,
Right.
therapeutic.
Right.
And it's a start. So that's what we doing here at Slum Religion. We giving y'all good music, we giving y'all good vibes,
Definitely
and hopefully
good music.
we can go from there, and we could just figure this thing out here, man. Like I said, thank everybody for tuning in, man. We'll be back next week.
Next week with my girl, Boston's wettest, Yaya Gabbana. You guys go check her
okay.
out. She'll be here next week, 7 p.m.
Be
y'all.
lit. I mean, we about to go in the live in the light box. About to go live. Listen to JL. Y'all better tune in. He's that nigga.
Appreciate y'all, man.
We'll see you guys in the light box.
All
Peace.
right.
Know the vibe.
Peace.